Hi, wrestling fans. Welcome to another, what we hope is a non-lagging, strong internet connection edition of AIWF Ringside Wrestling. Hi, I am Mad Matt Carter, being joined as always by Commissioner Rick Diesel, Hall of Fame Brian Danzig, but Reagan is feeling a mite poor this week, Brian, so she's not going to be joining us this week, as I understand, correct?
Yeah, a bit under the weather. So, yeah, she hated that she's going to miss it, but her voice, we probably wouldn't have been able to hear her anyway.
Okay. Yeah. Well,
and if you're playing a drinking game, we're going with Reagan puking in the background. That's when you drink.
Okay. So if you hear the sound of intense vomiting, drink now.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, welcome everybody. Man, it's hard to believe it's the Christmas season. I know everybody's not into this, but one of the things I loved from my childhood was lighting the Advent wreath at church. And so we got one for the house, and we lit the first candle tonight. And I think it really hit me. It's like, wow, man, that's Christmas again already. Here we are. We're right on the cusp of 2024. Come on, man. It's good, pretty lights everywhere, good food. So if you can avoid the family, that's good. That always makes for a very
Ginger's been hanging crap up around the house all day, and I just had to kind of like walk under her and around her, and
word to the wise, get that stuff up a couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, and you can enjoy it longer, and you don't have to worry about taking it down so quick after you do all that hard work putting it up.
Are you kidding? It'll be down like the day after Christmas. She'll work on it for 2 weeks, putting little things here and little things there, and then the day after Christmas, it's like it was never there. 2 days after, you're like, what happened?
She is messing with forces she can't comprehend.
Yeah.
Remember, there's 12 days to Christmas. Remember the song? That's a reason. So you're really not supposed to take them down until like January 6th, January 5th. So, yeah. So anyway, just something to keep in mind for all you superstitious people out there. Leave those lights up till after the first of the year. But anyway, so we got some wrestling news. This is a wrestling show, so we need to talk about it. I have learned, thanks to Brian Danzig's exhaustive research. Brian, would you like to make the announcement? We have a new champion.
We sure do. We have a new Mid Atlantic television champion. Mickey Fulp went to Ring Wars Carolina to face the then current champion Alex Bryant, and came out victorious. So he's bringing it back home.
Yeah, like him or not, he's bringing it.
Yeah,
bringing it back
it's
home.
one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things where, whether you like him or not, he's part of AIWF Mid Atlantic, and he is bringing the title back home. So you gotta. We'll see how we like it from there. The fact that he's the one that brought it, but he did bring it. So there's that.
Yeah, kudos to Mickey for that. The older and meaner I get, I want to see results with numbers and statistics. And when you got a title belt, there's no better stat than that to bring back home. And I know everybody kind of felt, because Alex Bryant won it from Matt Anderson at Deal with the Steel. And as far as I know, nobody took it from him. Mickey beat Alex Bryant for the title. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought I heard Brian say yes, Alex Bryant.
Okay. Yeah. So I know people were kind of disheartened by that when it happened, because they're like, well, he's going to take that belt down to Lumberton. We'll never see it again. But Mickey Fulp, to his credit, marched right into the Lion's Den and brought it back out. And I told Brian before we started recording, it's surprising to me the AIWF Mid Atlantic guys usually do not have good luck when they go down to Lumberton. So congratulations to Mickey Fulp. So,
well, I tell you right now, if Mickey was going to win that title, now would be the time to do it, because we're kind of taking a winter break. We've talked about that last week. We're taking a bit of a winter break this year because it gets chilly in that building, and I'm old and my nipples get real weird hard, and so I don't want to cut no shirts. But now would be time to do it, because unless which we could book him to defend it somewhere else. There are affiliates that would let him come and book it, but if he, as far as Mount Airy is concerned, he may not have to defend that title again after the first of the year. So
yeah.
And since we're taking the break, the 30-day rule, it don't count.
Yep.
Right.
Does not apply. Yeah, I mean, you can't expect somebody to defend if you're not having shows, and
Right.
you know, so
Right. Just meet the guy down at the building.
Yeah. Well, bring a camera, maybe a cell phone. Which I've had people, they say, "Hey, when's the next show? When's the next show?" I'm like, "Well, I tell you what, everybody, we'll let you in free if you rent a heater and bring it with you." It's cold in there.
It does get cold in that building, especially once the ground freezes, man, because
Yeah.
it's that cement block in there and everything. But yeah, I
And as
remember,
everybody knows, and we've dealt with the last few years, the park shuts the bathrooms down so the water don't freeze. I mean, and it's just hard to run down there. But we love our park.
oh God,
You know,
yeah.
And
Oh,
everybody
yeah.
has
Yeah, it's a nice setup.
everybody has got where they like it. So, it don't hurt us to take a couple months off.
No, it's
You know?
it is. It's nice to have a break. I mean, I
Right.
love wrestling. I love doing it. But yeah, it's not, especially around the holidays. We want to spend the weekend going and seeing the different lights at different places,
Right.
and doing family get-togethers. You don't always get together on Christmas with different family members.
Hmm.
And so yeah, it's nice to have a little break around the holidays.
I told Ginger I'd take her to Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge if she could give me a legitimate reason why Dolly Parton's head looks so big on her body now.
That's a good point.
She
Well, I
looks
think-
like a bobblehead
Well, yeah, but I think Dolly's lost some weight. I think as old as she
on
is.
her head.
No, not in her head. Well, that's
Right. Yeah, that's the problem. Everywhere but her head.
Yeah,
I'm like, my God, she looks deformed.
that's
But she's got a rock and roll album come out now, and I swear to God, I realize now that Dolly Parton can sing anything.
yeah, she
You
can.
know, damn what it is.
Yeah, well, her head has to stay big because that's where the music comes from, out of her mouth. So
Makes sense.
yeah.
I guess I owe you a trip to Pigeon Forge, don't I?
But there's actually, if you go up to Pigeon Forge and you drive over to Sevierville, they've got a statue of Dolly Parton sitting there, like a bronze statue of her playing the guitar. And Sevierville, now I don't know if it's the courthouse or the city hall, but it's right out there in the courtyard. So we saw
I feel like the last time I went out there was when I was like a teenager. I don't even know what the place looks like. I couldn't tell you how to get there.
Just go up to Winston. No, yeah, go up to Winston, get on 40, go over to Asheville that way. That'd be closest for you anyway. We found out the hard way. You do not want to take I-26 from Charlotte up to Asheville, because when you get to the Asheville city limits, I don't care what time of day it is, the traffic just stops. So whatever you do, avoid I-26 and then just keep following 40 till you see the signs and exit. Nothing to it.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty easy. These travel tips are brought to you by
Play.
Premier Auto Detailing.
Yeah.
So
I saw somebody in an event the other night, and it's like, I watch the show every week, and y'all get off on some weird stuff, and I'm like, I'm sorry, he said, no, it's entertaining. I like it.
okay. Well,
Okay.
our average view duration for this show has skyrocketed recently, so evidently he's telling you the truth. Again, I go back to the numbers.
They like it, from what I've heard, but I mean, I'm not sure I'm the one to ask, because Reagan seems to be the star of the freaking thing, from what I hear. She can't go nowhere without by going, "Oh, it's you on YouTube." But
well, that's what she tells us. That's what she tells us. But you remember, Reagan was a very dastardly bad guy in her time in wrestling. So, she's still telling what she'd tell us.
Well, I literally had somebody send me an email and said, "Hey, I've seen Brian and Reagan. They told me to contact you about getting on the shows." I'm like, "Yeah, they told me." But anyway, what I understand, they like the fact that we talk about wrestling, but they also like the fact that we just go off on weird tangents too.
Yeah.
Because I guess just talking about wrestling would be boring.
Well, there's 6 million different wrestling podcasts out there. I mean, everybody's got one. So we got to do something to be a little different. And speaking of a little different, Brian, you were talking about Christmas lights. We go to Tanglewood every year. I don't know if you guys did the carriage ride.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's something I've always wanted to try. If Ginger likes Christmas lights so much, Rick, why don't you take her down there at Tanglewood and go through that. I don't know if you guys have ever been. It's a lot of fun.
I've been.
We like it.
Ebenezer Scrooge over here.
I know, right?
Talk about messing with forces that you.
Let me tell you something. I can pull up 3 ghosts. I could go right in that box right there and get you some pictures of Brian Danzig, and you would swear on your grandkids or future grandkids that he does not like Christmas. So you know what I'm saying? I mean, I get. Other than the fact that there are, I did find a video the other day of him hanging on the ropes like Jesus. Now that might be, but I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's
he was hung on a cross in Stewart, Virginia, one time. So
yeah, and that
is the season.
Quite different. No, that's Easter. You're thinking of Easter.
Oh, okay, never mind. I thought it was all about the same dude.
It is about the same dude.
Okay.
He's great guy, wrong time. But anyway, so yeah, and I would also recommend, if you hadn't, and now this one's not as family friendly, affordable as Tanglewood, but there's a lot more to see. If you want to drive down here to Concord and check out Speedway Christmas, if you got little ones that'll love Christmas lights, it's done Charlotte Motor Speedway style. They have to have the biggest, brightest, most obnoxious show of anybody, and they do a real good job of it. They have a whole big Christmas village in the middle, like it's similar to the Red Barn at Tanglewood. Just imagine a Red Barn multiplied by 10. And they have all kinds of activities and stuff. So a great way to spend the evening. But if you come on Friday and Saturday, you better be in line by 4:30, and it opens at 6. I'm just telling you.
I'll have you know, I've already done 2 nights at the High Country Lights in Galax. I'm done.
Yeah.
And I think we got another couple of nights coming sometime later on. And I don't know.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that because we were talking about it the other day on the phone. And so High Country Lights is not like a drive-through light show.
No, it's a drive up.
So you drive up, park, turn your lights off.
You drive up, park, the lights come on, and they have a radio station that you can put it on, and the lights flash in time with the music.
Yeah. Okay.
It's cool. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But after you've seen it a couple of times, you're like,
Yeah. So how long does the show last?
It goes till after. I mean, it goes from I think it starts at 6 and goes to 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and then they're doing it until I think January 1st or something like that.
Oh, okay. So
it's every night.
You can come in there and just watch the lights as long as you want.
Yeah, it's free.
No,
I mean,
can't beat that price. Sure can.
No. I think Johnson, one of the Johnson car dealerships or something up there sponsors it. So, and he's got 2 or 3 other sponsors. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into the logistics of it. Because it is a wrestling show.
It is. As I look and check football scores, well balanced. So yeah, it is a wrestling show. And like I said, I lost some files, and this was the most recent slideshow I could find. So some of this stuff's going to be a little out of date, and I do apologize for that. I'll get it fixed at some point. So hang on. Let me do this. And is the slideshow showing?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All right, here we go. And of course, you can find us on Instagram at AIWF Mid Atlantic Wrestling and Diesel, DEEZEL 247. That's on.
I've discovered YouTube Shorts, Matt.
Yeah, and since you know how to edit, you can pack that thing up full.
Yeah, but you know what the turkey nuts are not doing?
What?
Counting my damn views. It shows it on each video, but it's not counting toward my monetization.
Oh.
Me and you have to discuss that.
Maybe they don't like. Yeah. Let's do that. Kind of want to. Yeah, it's been a lot to learn from YouTube, and I don't want to give all that information away for free.
Right? Yeah.
You can find me on X at Mad Matt Concord. It's not just wrestling related. A lot of times you'll see people doing dumb stuff and falling down and getting hurt and all that kind of stuff.
You see a lot of that in wrestling on the indie here lately.
Yeah.
My boy Rudy Gonzalez will throw up one every once in a while and say, "What is going on here?"
Well, speaking of wrestling, he is the talk of the wrestling business for the last 2 weeks. There he is, your friend and mine, CM Punk. You shaking your head, Rick Diesel? Are you already sick to death with CM Punk talk?
I said it before and I say it again. Let's AIWF Mid Atlantic needs to go do a show in Chicago. Maybe he'll debut for us because that seems to be where he does his thing.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't know. I just feel like he's more trouble than he's worth.
He might be
honestly. Right. I mean, fans get excited over it, but you know as well as I do, wrestling's wrestling. By spring, they'll be sick of it. They'll want something new. Wrestling fans have short attention spans. They get excited when he first comes back, and that he'll have a couple of feuds, and they'll be all excited. I don't know, maybe he'll wrestle Cody Rhodes, or who knows what he'll do. But then he'll be old in 6 weeks.
Well,
less.
I want to discuss that, but I do want to play for the people. Now, we can't show the video, and this is just a still shot from Monday night when he actually came out and talked to the crowd for the first time. It was the first time I've really been excited about watching Raw in a few months, and they were smart because, as we'll get into what's going on in WWE, who's in charge. But if you guys want to kick back just for a second and let's listen to CM Punk's comments. Can you hear the crowd? Did you hear the crowd?
Yeah, but don't they do it everywhere he debuts?
Yeah. Well,
for 1 or 2 shows.
Well, no, they've been doing it for 7 years or 8 years or 9 years, as long as he's been gone, honestly. So
no, I'm talking about when he come to AEW, they chanted CM Punk for a couple of shows, and then it's done with it.
Well, yeah, we'll get into all that. But
you want to make wrestling fans happy, you debut somebody every week, then they'll be happy.
You can't do that.
That's what I'm saying. You can't.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's listen to what Punk had to say about his return to Monday Night Raw for the first time in, God, seems like 10 years.
Looks like hell froze over. And when I mean hell froze over, I mean this is me standing in a WWE ring on Monday Night Raw with a live microphone in my hand. I don't mean the fact that apparently a Blackhawks fan is universally loved inside the Predators barn.
Just to clarify, they were in Nashville and he was, mocking their hockey team.
Okay, I'm sorry, I had to. You guys understand that. I gotta be me, right? And lately, I've been feeling a little bit more like myself ever since Saturday, which was a career highlight for me. I've been trying to come up with the words and the language to explain to all of you exactly how I feel. And I've come to 2 words, and I'm afraid to say them, honestly. And it's not because they're not true. It's because I'm a little bit scared of how true they actually are. And it's a little bit corny, and it's a little bit cheesy, and it's not gonna sound like CM Punk, but I've changed. And once upon a time, an American dream taught me that as long as you speak from the heart, you cannot go wrong because it is the truth. And this is the truth. I'm home.
Well, he run Brian off.
Yeah, Brian disappeared. I wonder.
Don't you think, though, Matt? Don't you think? I mean, didn't he do the same thing when he went to AEW? Didn't he go down there and just like, oh, I can finally be me. I feel like I'm home. I feel like I've come to where I need to be. Don't he just say whatever he thinks the people watching him want to hear?
It's very, very similar. And yes, of course, he's a top level wrestler. He's going to say what they want to hear.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean,
we're not done yet. I think though, if you were playing the Reagan vomit game with us, drink now, because that might have been why Brian had to leave.
I've come back to this familiar place, and I didn't know how I was going to react, and I didn't know how it was going to go, but it has made me feel like my old self, because this is where I belong. This is home, and I've been gone for 10 years, and over 10 years, you people never forgot me, even when maybe I wanted to forget me. And that's powerful. You are all powerful. a bunch of continents, countless countries, arenas all over the world, the people watching at home, the people in the building never stopped chanting my name.
A commercial came up.
It's not about his relationship with the fans I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
You know, they've never, no matter where he's at, they've never let him down. They've never turned on him. And they are CM Punk fans, no matter where he's at. They follow him where he goes. It's his relationship with the people backstage.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He can't pipe bomb WWE and go to AEW and shit all over WWE and then wear out his welcome in AEW to the point everybody wants to kill him, and then go to WWE and say, "Oh, I'm home."
Well, he's done it, and he's got a pile of money to do it. And there's a rumor going around that on his way out of AEW, Tony Khan paid him to sign a non-disclosure agreement, an NDA, for those of you like acronyms, that he wouldn't talk about AEW. So to me, the guy's getting paid. You know, I hope he doesn't end up being a problem again. I really hope.
That's my only concern. You know, that's fine. Enjoy what you do what you do good, because he is a hell of a worker.
Yes.
The fans love him. The problem is he's a problem backstage. And the fact that he's even there at all shows me that WWE now will listen to the fans. But at what expense? You know, at whose expense? Who's he gonna piss off backstage? Who's he gonna? Because all this does, in my opinion, is make him cocky. It makes him think that he's the biggest star in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It makes him think that he can, not so much management, but the boys. He can just say whatever he wants to them, and he thinks he can get away with it. All they're doing is feeding his ego when they do this. And I feel like that's why he's a problem backstage at times.
Well, you know, I found a documentary that somebody put together on YouTube about CM Punk. Let me see if I can find what it's called. Give me a second. This week, where they took all the video and audio clips of his entire run in AEW and put them all together. And they play in about an hour and a half. And you say, well, he was at AEW for like over 3 years, wasn't he? Yeah, but he was out hurt over half that. So, yeah, let me see here. CM Punk. Let's see.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Maybe Triple H, now that he's got some power, maybe there's people up there now that'll stand up to him. You know what I'm saying? But of course, then who knows? Maybe they were standing up to him last time he was in WWE, and that's why he was so anxious to get out of there, because he didn't like them standing up to him. It seems that wherever he goes, it goes to shit for him when he wears his welcome out backstage. Not in the ring, not to the fans. It's backstage is where his issues are.
Well, I would invite you to watch. It's called CM Punk and AEW, the complete story documentary. It's posted by Drop Mick Wrestling. It went up 5 days ago. It's 2 hours and 28 minutes, and it documents his whole run through AEW. And he had Eddie Kingston come out there and cut a fiery promo that sounded like he was going into business for himself not very long after he got there. And then the thing with Adam Page happened, and the thing with the Young Bucks, and but you know, I don't think that
the thing about him being in WWE, and I agree with him on one thing, that's where he needs to be, because he's less likely to have somebody punch him in the face in AEW and WWE than he is in AEW, because AEW is like the Wild West.
Yeah, but I don't think any of those people in AEW could legitimately fight. I mean, maybe Jericho, maybe Ambrose. I mean,
well, they tried.
Yeah, they tried. They got their ass kicked, though. The Young Bucks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. WWE is a more controlled environment. They're not going to try up there.
No. And CM Punk wouldn't have any need to go into business for himself in WWE or defend himself from as such. And I know we're using a little inside lingo, but if you listen to other wrestling podcasts, you know what we're talking about. And if you don't, don't worry about it. You're not missing anything. You can probably put two and two together. But they're going to have him on SmackDown this Friday. So they're going to try to pop a big rating on Fox. That I say this for, Sunday's the first day of the week. Yeah. So this Friday, he's promised on SmackDown. So he's back now, and I am hoping they put him with Seth Rollins, because he worked with Seth Rollins closely. The Shield, when they first came into WWE, were helping out CM Punk in his title defenses, if you'll remember, back about in 2011 or so, 2012. And so to me, it would be like Rollins, after the show, there was all that fan cam footage of him looking like he was trying to get at CM Punk and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he was being restrained by Michael Cole, which, made me think, And so, not saying that Cole's not a strong man, but, come on, Seth Rollins is one of the best athletes on this planet. If he wants to go somewhere, aside from Brock Lesnar, I don't know many people that could stop him. Chuck Norris, maybe. But, and that would even be a test. But I would love to see that, because they're both good on the microphone. And Seth's been saying some kind of passive aggressive stuff in his promos when he comes out there about people that leave and weren't loyal and they think they're going to come back here and just walk all over us who have been here the whole time and that kind of thing. So I think they're going to do what happened in AEW by sheer accident and nobody knew what the fuck to do with it, and turn it into something that draws money in WWE. And so, because let's face it, there's a lot more experience, know-how, and a lot more experience and know-how in the people that run WWE, i.e. Triple H, who handles all the creative and the matchmaking. So I don't know. Thoughts?
I think that if it can work, it will work with the WWE, and I hope it does. CM Punk, when he is on TV, more people watch wrestling, and so it's good for everybody if he is on TV. But right now is the honeymoon phase. Everybody's getting along. He got along with everybody at first in AEW, so we're just going to have to see how long it lasts. And but yeah, again, I hope it does. But I just find it interesting because I was reading some of the articles after Raw, and it's like the big story is CM Punk made it through an entire taping of Raw without getting in a fight with somebody. It was like
some of these people that write for wrestling websites, I'm telling you, I don't, if they had the correct number of brain cells at birth, they have smoked themselves retarded at this point, because they are just some of the shit that they put out, but anyway.
But if you take that and go with it, like Brian said, it's a honeymoon phase now.
Yeah.
What happens when Punk gets comfortable?
Mm-hmm. And we'll see, hopefully, because it seems like his main issue with them originally was that he was sick and their doctors were saying, no, you're fine. And then he went to his doctor and they were like, oh my God, you are sick. You need rest. You need to not be wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just hoping that that's the that he can that won't be a problem this time.
Yeah.
And that he'll be able to function in WWE, but I'm just worried that his ego has outgrown to be able to be in any big promotion. But again, we'll see.
We'll find out. Yeah, but he said first thing is he said I've changed, and I believe him, because none of us are the person we were 10 years ago. Yeah, I mean, with life, you gain wisdom, right? I mean, so he's. I hear Reagan commenting. Is she vomiting?
No,
Don't
no,
drink yet. Don't drink yet.
They didn't get her Chinese order right.
Oh,
She got sweet and sour chicken with no sweet and sour sauce. So basically, she got chicken nuggets.
oh no! I mean,
Chinese chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
just all right.
No, they're not Chinese chicken nuggets till you get sweet and sour sauce.
Throw if you got fried rice with it, Reagan, throw a little of that over there, and then take either if you like A1 or if you want something sweet, your favorite barbecue sauce, and stir it all up, and it'll help. It's not going to fix it, but it'll help. So
with a little strawberry jelly.
That sounds like we're making meatballs now in the crock pot. I've never understood why you needed the grape jelly, but anyway, go ahead, Brian. I'm sorry.
But no, I was just going to say that I hope that CM Punk works out in WWE, because, like I said, it's good for everybody, and he's a good wrestler, and there will be some good matches. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're pairing him off with Seth Rollins. Those are going to be. That'll be really good. That, and I want Ryback to be shut up. Yeah. Because speaking of wrestling journalists and dirt sheets and stuff,
God, what an asshole!
Every time I see an article, Ryback said this on Twitter, I'm like, who cares?
Yeah,
who cares what Ryback said? Is he even relevant in the business anymore?
No.
I didn't
even
know.
No podcast. He don't work for nobody. What is
he was just on Twitter.
Right? Yeah, he was like, if CM Punk comes back, I'm going to retire. And I'm like, I didn't know he was still wrestling.
I thought he was already retired.
Right. It's ridiculous. I mean, whether or not there are people that are currently in the business who do have problems with CM Punk, who may have legitimate concerns, Ryback's opinion doesn't matter in the least.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want him to just go away. And I don't I don't want Ryback to be able to say, I told you so.
Actually, if I can get Ryback for Mickey Folk money, he can come here and wrestle.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I might
Mickey Folk's got a belt now, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
He might be worth more than Ryback.
But see, the thing is, I just Googled Ryback, and the only thing that comes up about him is anytime he says something stupid on Twitter. I don't see a website. I don't see him selling merchandise. So I don't know what he's doing. He could be working as a security guard down at the Gentleman's Club. I mean, it's probably not too far from.
Or he could be baby doll level and be working third shift at Walmart like she did that one time. I shouldn't have went there. I'm sorry.
Hey, everybody's got to have a job. Everybody's got to make a living. I mean, hell,
she had to eat.
Tony Schiavone was a barista at Starbucks for years, so
she had to be able to label her food in the refrigerator.
Oh, and if you fans don't believe me about Tony Schiavone being a barista at Starbucks, look it up. It's true, and he admits to it on his podcast. He said he enjoyed it. So. But anyway,
I'm not going to talk about how I know the food was labeled in the refrigerator. We'll not go there.
I don't know anything about Baby Doll. I know she got her and Sam Houston got fired from Crockett Promotions for trying to chew each other's faces off while they were on Crockett's plane a couple of different times. But
if you want me to tell you how it's going for, Sam's got a book.
Who? Sam
in Tennessee.
Oh, does it? Yeah. Well, she was at Wrestle Cave.
She won't show up.
She won't show up. You don't think?
She might. She's notorious for,
taking your money and not showing up.
Well, no, she don't take the money. She just don't show up. She might more now. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But I know there was a time when she was bad to no show, cancel at the last minute.
That always leaves a sour taste in my mouth if somebody does it. And I know even more so for promoters, but like there's a certain person in the NWA right now that no showed us one time who I thought was just awesome and a great person. And she did that. And I'm just like, every time I see her, I don't think about all the laughs we had and the good matches she had while she was here. I think about the one time she no showed.
Yeah.
And so
it's always that. It's always that with them.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what they say, never meet your heroes.
Again, and after we had our WrestleCade talk last week, I thought about what Brian and Reagan said, and I think that's part of it too. Like, I'm afraid to meet some of my heroes because I'm afraid they'll be assholes.
See, that's one reason why I won't go to any fan fest, because I want to remember them like they were, not like they are. I don't want to remember Lex Luger in a wheelchair. I don't want, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's the way I want to remember him. I want to remember him going,
Yeah.
That's why I remember him.
Well,
Wahoo McDaniel, Wahoo McDaniel got me like that. I never wanted to see Chief when he got older.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you want to
see him like that. Now, now Brian remembers how we seen him at Andre the Giant's ranch that time.
yeah, him and Ivan, yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
God bless him. I didn't think they was ever gonna get him in the truck.
Mm-mm.
Wow, he was pretty hammered, huh?
Oh, him and Ivan both.
Yeah. Oh boy, I bet you that was a fun night. Can you
We
imagine
had a
that?
ball that night, didn't we?
Mm-hmm, we sure did.
Andre had already left us at that point, right? So he wasn't there. Okay.
Yeah, it was Frenchie.
Oh,
Yeah,
Frenchie
had us over.
Oh my!
They had turned what was it, Brian? One of the barns into a bar.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. And it was just like a private bar.
Yeah.
On the farm, on Andre's farm.
Yeah. Wow.
And we all went down there, and let's see, was Ben
it was with us. Yeah, because me and Ben were sitting beside Ivan.
Yeah, and Ginger was with us. I'll never forget. It got late. Gosh, I'm gonna die for this one. But Ginger looked at me, she said, I'm gonna go lay down in the car. I'm sleepy. And Ivan leaned over me and said, you know what she wants? God bless him and Wahoo, but we heard stories that night though, didn't we, Brian?
Yes, we did.
It was so awesome. Them just sitting around telling us and Ivan Koloff, Frenchie, and Wahoo McDaniel at Andre the Giant's ranch, drinking and listening to stories. Man. That right there, you can never, ever, nobody will ever match that in my life.
Yeah. I bet you that, and considering you think about all three of those guys and where they traveled in all different parts of the world and everything, man, I bet you heard some good ones that night.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't get that no more. There's not a fan fest out there that you can get that at no more.
Well, no, because they know everybody's got recording and listening devices. They're not going to open up and tell you what actually happened.
Well, that and you're in a bar with a bunch of strangers. It was just us. I think Les was there.
Yeah.
And it was just a small group of us. It might have been 5 or 6 of us.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
When you say Les, you mean Les Thatcher?
No, Les Parker.
Les Parker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's the local indie guy from
from down there, because it all happened. It all come together to show in Rockingham. And I think Ivan and Wahoo was on the show, and Frenchie showed up, and they looked at me and said, "Hey, you guys come too?" You know, it's me and Ivan and Wahoo knew of each other for a while, and they just brought us all up there. We followed them all up. God, that thing was his way. That place was out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that ranch is in Ellerby, and that's
Ellerby. Yeah,
that's out in the middle of nowhere. You know, they opened up an Andre the Giant museum there.
Really?
Yes, they do. They have it. It's part of their town museum. But yeah, there's a bunch of wrestling artifacts and everything in there. So if you're ever down around Ellerby,
well, they like I said, it was a barn, like an old tobacco barn or something that was on the farm.
Yeah.
And Andre turned it into a bar, and Andre would have wait, Frenchie, if I'm not mistaken. You tell me if I say anything wrong, Brian. Andre would have just certain people come if they was in the area. He would just invite them to the ranch. Very, exclusive. You had to be somebody to get invited there.
Oh yeah.
And but
it
Know
had to be
somebody.
yeah, and be
Because, like,
somebody
me
that
and-
Andre
Me and
liked
Ben,
too.
a couple of green
Yeah, if he didn't like it, you didn't
nobodies
come.
just
and
tagging
believe it or
along.
not, we wouldn't have went had been for Wahoo and Ivy.
Oh yeah.
So but they took us up there, and yeah, stories, and it's mostly stories about Andre.
Mhm.
But like the
Yeah, I
lawnmower
remember
story.
Frenchie, one of the he was talking about how they were going through an airport, and Andre normally, when fans came up to him, he was very friendly and would talk to them, but they were running late. They were going to miss their flight, and this guy kept wanting his autograph, wanting Andre's autograph, and he's like, I'm going to miss my flight. I can't stop. We have to keep going. And the guy kept bothering him, and Andre just kind of took his hand and kind of pushed the guy out of his way. And Frenchie looked back, and the guy was like 15 feet down the hallway in a pile of luggage, like he had been thrown by 4 guys across the airport. But Andre was just kind of like,
brushing him
get
off,
out of
he
my
said.
way,
Yeah.
and the guy went flying.
Me and Frenchie said that he was trying to get a riding lawnmower up on a truck one time, and he's trying to figure out how to get up on it. So Andre walked up and asked him what he was doing. He's like, he's trying to get this lawnmower on the truck. And he said, well, here, let me help you. He just reached down and picked the riding lawnmower up and put it over the back.
That on the back of the truck.
Yeah. Hey, thanks. Can you ride with me where I'm taking this thing? Because I'm gonna have a hell of a time getting it back
Yeah.
on.
But
Man.
anyway, I don't know how we got off on that, but
Yeah.
what was we talking about before? I took us off down that road.
We were on CM Punk, and just whether or not we think he's going to work out this time. He is the hottest topic in wrestling. All the podcasts are talking about him, and so I think it's great. WWE, he's in there at the right time. They're negotiating a new TV deal. So if they pop some good ratings for Raw over the next few months, that's going to help with that. So.
Maybe Triple H can control him. I don't know.
Well,
We'll just have to see.
I feel like his ego is going to get him where he thinks, I am so valuable, I can say whatever the hell I want to whoever I want to.
I hope not.
And once again, Taker's not there to calm the situation down no more.
Yeah,
but
CM Punk's 10 years older than he was before. So
and in WWE, you screw up there, you're losing a lot more than you are anywhere else. So people are they tolerate a little more up there now.
Well, I think you're right. You're spot on, and that Triple H can control him. A lot of CM Punk's problems were with Vince McMahon. He said that, not in so many words, but read between the lines, you can figure it out. I think because TKO owns the company now, Ari Emanuel, the guy that runs the promotion, runs the company, when they acquired UFC, he didn't get rid of Dana White. He's like, keep doing what you're doing, man. And they got a new TV deal that was very lucrative with ESPN and Disney. I think the same thing's going to happen with WWE. They got Vince out of the creative side, which Vince McMahon is the greatest wrestling promoter in the history of the world. There's no doubt about it. He took the WWE from a regional promotion to a global juggernaut. Well, you can't deny it. But the last few years, some of the shit that he's done creatively, it's like as good as the actual wrestling is in the ring, you'd be watching Raw like.
Well,
and that's not happening now since he's been out. Triple H does a slow book. They call it a slow burn booking style, right? I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever heard that expressed that way, but he paces everything real slow because he's got 5 hours of TV to fill up every week. And then when you get to the pay-per-view, everything pops off, and it's really exciting. It makes it like I'm already can't wait to the Royal Rumble. So
that's the only show every year I care about. But now the last few years I hadn't cared much about it because I've always, the only thing what I like about the Royal Rumble. Oh, and I got one thing to say about Vince McMahon's booking style. Gobbledygooker. But anyway,
what's with all the gobbledygook? What?
But I always liked the Royal Rumble because of the fact that they would have people that you wouldn't expect and be there, legends or somebody show up from another company, or just somebody coming back. But that's the only thing I really cared about.
Yeah, you got 30 spots to fill, and now you have to have a women's Royal Rumble and a men's Royal Rumble. So
yeah,
you get two of the same match. I don't mind it. I think the Royal Rumble's exciting. It only happens once a year. Now, if they had that match 3-4 times a year, I wouldn't like it because it's so long. But speaking of like match innovations, I got to encourage y'all, and I accidentally told y'all mistakenly that it was this past Saturday night, but NXT Deadline is coming up this coming Saturday night. All you got to do is pull out your Peacock about 8 o'clock and press it lightly and come on there. Yeah. NXT Deadline.
If you're not at home, don't pull it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, you can watch your Peacock on your phone, anywhere on the subway, in a taxi cab. You can pull out your Peacock.
That's what I worry about as I get older. Someday I'm going to pull out my Peacock in Walmart. Now I'm going to be.
Yep. Well, the walls are too thick in Walmart. I don't think a Peacock will work there. But anyway, see, I can do one-liners. But anyway, so
you get a certain age, it don't work anyhow.
Yeah. No, well, I ain't talking about it. No, I'm not. No, not doing erectile dysfunction.
Oh, speaking of an old Peacock, I seen Chuck King the other night.
That's great.
Wow. Yeah, we were just talking about him last week.
Yeah, and speaking of long and boring matches, what they got coming up for? Sorry, Chuck, I had to, man. I have not been able to get one.
Yeah, he watches the show, by the way. So be careful.
No, I love Chuck. But like everything I always remember about Chuck is the ring truck. But let me get back to. I'll come back to that. The NXT Deadline, they have come up with this new gauntlet match that's really unique. It lasts for 25 minutes. And then people are drawn at random, and somebody new comes in the ring every 5 minutes. Now you're thinking, wow, a gauntlet match would be great if you're the last person. It works on a point system. You score points for pinfalls and submissions and that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So you actually have the advantage if you come in first. The problem is you have to wrestle for 25 minutes in a multiple person match. And by the time you get to the end, when they had it last year, the people that came in first were just flat out on the floor or lose 2 or 3 falls within a minute because they were so exhausted. So it's a really unique match, and they're going to have a women's and a men's. So if you ain't doing nothing next Saturday night, stay home and watch that. It's very entertaining, and they're going to need some viewers because the last time I checked the ticket maps at Bridgeport, Connecticut for this event, well, the WWE might be red hot right now, but NXT's about what they normally do. So when they go out to big arenas, and that's the problem. They don't go out there that much. They wrestle at studio all the time. So we'll see how it works out. But no, talking about Chuck King, I always had to load that ring truck right, man, or you was getting yelled at. I learned real quick. I wouldn't even set the ropes down nowhere. Chuck, where do you want? You want these in the truck now, or we're gonna send them over for later? Always ask. Don't just put anything on there. I know AC sent me a message. He said he works on Sunday night, so he's not going to be able to come on the show, but he did appreciate the invite. So, I wanted to address that.
Did I tell you that about, God bless,
he owns a souvenir wrestling.
Well, no, he does that, but he's got another thing. He was, I don't know if it's a job or if he just helping somebody, but he was working at a convenience store and a dude tried to rob him. Macy had to kick his ass. That's my boy.
Well,
as AC would say, he went ninja on him.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you guys the story about when Jinky and I were down in Myrtle Beach and we visited Stevie when he worked at the smoke shop, and those guys
you told us about that.
Yeah, those guys came in and Stevie was ready to fight them all, and they were all twice as big as him, but he was fearless. I'll never forget the way he was like, the guy was like, I want to speak to your effing manager. And Stevie goes, yo, I am the manager. What? Like that. And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like looking around, like looking for something to pick up a stick or something, man, because these guys are going to kick our ass. but I wasn't going to let all four of them jump, Stevie. No fucking way. You know, I might have got, but either way, I guess they thought he was insane because he was like screaming at all four of them and blowing up, and they left. So probably a smart move because there was a lot of glass in that store, and I think somebody would have really got hurt if a fight had broken out. But yeah. So wrestling's fake until you mess with one of them. Just remember that, people. Yeah,
Exactly.
You out there that think wrestling's fake, try your luck with a wrestler sometime, even an indie wrestler.
Yeah.
You'll go home that night or to the hospital and rethink your life. That's for sure.
Wahoo was and Ivan were telling several stories about fans meeting guys in the parking lot thinking they're gonna show how tough they are by taking on a wrestler, and they found out the hard way. You don't do that.
No.
Now, there is a lot of smaller guys out there now, but they're wiry. I mean, you learn things in this business. You know what I'm saying? You just learn. I never forget the dude way back in the early 90s. He told me he went to a party, and I can't remember his name, but he said he went to a party and somewhere around where he lived, some guy got mouthy with him and he hip tossed him. And
that's funny. You know, Wahoo, there was a steakhouse near remember the old Cable 6 for you wrestling fans, whether you see the old Rick Diesel shows at the old Cable 6 studios. Well, up until the late 90s, early 2000s, there was a steakhouse called Kilby's right across from there. And Wahoo, on trips from Roanoke back down 220 toward Greensboro or back to Charlotte, would stop at Kilby's and go in there and have a couple of beers. And people were and this is in the 70s, and people were always trying Wahoo in that bar for some reason. And they ended up having to ban Wahoo, not because Wahoo was doing anything wrong, because he would be in there minding his business and talking to people. You know, most people were really nice to Wahoo and like, all right, Wahoo's in here, let's have a beer with him, you know. But you would always have that one person that want to try him. And Wahoo, I was told that they had to ban Wahoo because every time he came in there, he didn't drink enough to cover the cost of all the furniture he broke. he was breaking them with his opponents, you know, because he was a wrestler. He'd pick people up and slam them on the tables, you know.
Yeah.
So,
the fact that his hands was like that thick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, Tony Schiavone told a story one time on his podcast about them being, there used to be a bar in Charlotte that all the wrestlers would hang out down off of South Boulevard called Bennigan's. It's not there anymore, but he said that Wahoo was in there one night, and it was in 84 when he was doing his run with Tully Blanchard as a bad guy, U.S. champion. And he said that they were sitting there drinking, just talking. And Wahoo said, well, I'm thinking of tying one on, Schiavone. I think I'm going to need a little more insulin. And he reached in his little bag and pulled out his syringe and gave himself an extra shot of insulin. And Tony was like, I don't think that's how it works, Wahoo. And he goes, yeah, that's what they say at the doctor too, but we're just going to do it to be on the safe side. And he said that after they had a few beers and I started feeling pretty good, some woman walked over to Wahoo and just started berating him and cussing him and saying what a no good son of a bitch he was. And she started slapping him on the shoulder, and then it escalated and she hit him in the face, you know, slapped him in the face or whatever. And Tony Schiavone said Wahoo just turned to him very calmly and said, Schiavone, I think you better go ahead on outside and get you a cab and head home. Like it. And he said, well, Wahoo, I don't want to leave you here with this going on. And he was like, don't worry, I'm about to handle it. And he said, Wahoo turned around and just reached out with his hand open and smacked that woman across the face so hard she went down in a heap on the floor. And of course they picked up the phone and called the cops. And Tony said, Wahoo looked at him and said, go ahead, Schiavone, go on out of here, get a cab. I'll take care of the police. Like that. So they had TV interviews at Crockett on Wednesday morning the next morning. And so Tony walks in there and he's going to walk up to David Crockett and be like, man, I don't know. We might have to get, Wahoo might be in jail. I don't know, you know, because he was thinking that Wahoo got arrested. Wahoo beat him to the building that morning. Wahoo was already there. And he asked him, he said, what happened? He said, oh, I knew some of the Charlotte police that showed up there. I took care of everything. and they sent me home. Like,
and that's why that man's my mentor. And tell Brian he can eat. He don't have to lean over completely out because now he's got noodles in his beard. Oh no, I thought it was a noodle. It's a rubber band.
No, it's a rubber band. He had it. Yeah, you get a pass on this show, Brian, because we're internet.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian. Just stuff your face, man. We don't care.
Well, Brian,
just in between stories, I'll take a few bites.
Yeah, Brian has heard me berate people, I'm sure, over the years for eating on TV or chewing gum on TV, because I've always been taught that that's a no-no. And I remember Jerry Lawler doing it to Tony Atlas one time on WWE TV. He was like, they were showing Tony Atlas. Tony was sitting there chewing gum, and he goes, "Hey, you idiot, don't you know you're not supposed to chew gum on TV?"
Yeah, we're going to have to ask Brian to starve. You know what I'm saying?
No, we're not going to have
I could just, I hit the mute button, so we're good.
Yeah,
Chinese food is not good when it gets cold.
No, it's
Don't
not.
care how much, whether you got sweet and sour sauce or not.
I'll tell you what I'll do, Brian. I need to read some ads, so to give you time to get some of that down, I can go ahead and read
good.
all 4 of them. So let me go ahead and get that pulled up here. Hang on a second. And I need to clear my throat if I'm gonna read 4 spots in a row. You're getting a quick version this week, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. Yeah, but we're gonna be more closer to the 30-second than the 1 minute range today. And can you guys see the slideshow?
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is from an old slideshow, so from September, because of my file issues. So some of this data may not be correct, but, jump in if I start telling them lies, please, Rick Diesel. Premier Auto Detailing is a car detailing service that operates in the Mount Airy, Surry County area of North Carolina. We say, hands down, they're the best car cleaning service in town. And for more information, you can call them at 336-883-5722. That's 336-883-5722. Great thing about Premier Auto Detailing, they will do residential jobs for you, meaning they'll come clean up your car that you have at home, car, truck, or van, whatever. But they also do commercial jobs, like for fleet services. If you got a business, you got a bunch of trucks, you got a crane that needs cleaning, whatever, or you have a used car lot and you need somebody to come around to the lot every couple of weeks and make all your inventory look nice and fresh. Well, Premier Auto Detailing has got you covered, man. They have got you covered, and they'll be glad to help you. Again, their number is 336-883-5722. Premier Auto Detailing. Please tell them that AIWF Ringside Wrestling sent you. Now, Tees Creations, custom apparel. Again, we don't have the Christmas slide up here. I can try to rework it by next week and get that type fixed. But you can reach them at teescreations22.com, teescreations22.com, and they'll be able to help you out with any of your t-shirt needs. They've got a wide variety to choose from, but they can do custom jobs too, like for little league teams or family reunions or any event that you go, that you're going to, or, if you wanted a t-shirt that say, I was at the 2023 Galax Mountain Light Show, they could do that for you. So give them a call, or not give them a call, reach out to them at teescreations22.com, Tees Creations by Allied Apparel on Facebook, and on TikTok, just search Tees Creations.
And speaking of Little League, if the person that I had the softball conversation with Saturday night, or what night was it? The other night, might have been, no, Friday. Anyway, whatever night we had that conversation about softball, if you're watching, yes, I am serious.
There you go. He's serious. You can join this. You can join this festival of frolic and fun, and can't think of any other F word that appropriately drop into this read right here. But monthly is only $10 a month. So what you just heard,
and we won't exaggerate how many people will see it.
No, we won't. You could just look at our numbers. Look at our numbers on Facebook and YouTube.
That's right.
Yeah.
We won't try to tell you there's a whole lot more that watches it than does.
Yep. And we don't hide our stuff behind no paywall, and we're proud of that. But anyway, putting a headlock on high advertising prices, you won't get any better publicity from cheap advertising than you will from us. Don't worry, Brian. I'm not done. I'm just got to bump it up a couple of slides here.
Hey. And feel free, if there's anything that you'd like to see Brian eat on the show, just let us know.
Yes.
Send Matt in an email, and we'll have Brian try it out on the show and let you know what he thinks of it.
My,
We'll turn this into a cooking show segment too.
Matt's new mailbox at yahoo.com. Matt's
Right.
new mail. I can't put that up on the screen right now, but Matt's new mailbox at yahoo.com. If you want to see Brian eat something gross, no, don't do that. And look, I don't think we can get balut in this country, so don't even try it. Don't even try it. You know, nothing that you've seen on an Indiana Jones movie, no chilled monkey brains and all that stuff. It has to be legal.
And if Brian Danzig won't eat it, we'll get Ty Tyson on here and he'll eat it.
Yeah, we know Ty Tyson ate it. Speaking of which, branch management, there's not much
Anything
in the landscaping area going on right now, but you need to get ready for next year, and they can help you out with that. They still, you know, it's still kind of warm out. They can still do stuff. Most of the stuff stopped growing, but if you'd like to get in touch with them for pressure washing or leaf removal, any type of general contracting work, gutter cleaning, that's something you may need. I mean, all the leaves are pretty much off the trees down here, but I don't know about up in the Mount Airy area. But you can give them a call at 336-648-2487. 336-648-2487. They offer free estimates. Now, if they come out and do any actual work for you, there'll be a charge associated with that. But the estimate to get you a ballpark figure on what that work done you want is absolutely free. 336-648-2487. That is
and for
great.
extra $20, Darren will do it with no pants on.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know.
And he'll pay you in cash or check.
Wow. Okay. I'm not sure. A law might not have been broken there, but okay. Luckily, Tees Treats is our most delicious sponsor, and they've been up there at Galax wowing the people at the Christmas lights show for the last couple of weeks, and that's probably where you can find them, right, Rick Diesel?
Well, nothing this week, but I think on the 16th, during the day, I think we're going to be at the Galax Farmers Market. I think she said on it, because that's where we were Saturday. And there's people everywhere, man. And we had a great day at the Galax Farmers Market. It's on Main Street down there, over in Galax. And then I think on the 16th, we're going to be back at the Galax Farmers Market. And we might be, I'm not sure if we're going to be at the lights that night or not, but we would have been at the lights this past Saturday, or last night, actually. But the rain, nobody's going to come out and see the things in the rain.
No. Yeah, events like that are no fun when it's raining. But Tees Treats, they got great pizza, delicious dogs, decadent desserts, and got mini donuts. They're available for any type of festival. You can, as you heard, if you'd like to reach out to them about their availability, call 336-755-8204. That's 336-755-8204 for Tees Treats. Yummy. And you can see some of their latest creations if you visit their check out their Facebook page. And that's old, so I'm not going to show it anymore because I don't think that one of those items we featured is even offered by them anymore. But they got
Which one?
The ribbon fries.
No, God almighty. We went through about 6 bags of potatoes yesterday at the.
Really?
Yeah, it was crazy, man. The ribbon fries flying out of that thing. It's going everywhere.
Good.
And she brought back the funnel cakes on top of the milkshakes. Did you have a picture of one of those? That's been gone for a while, but she brought them back Saturday too. I don't know if it's a limited time like the McRib.
Yeah.
But
oh, speaking of which, I got to get me one of them, and I think it's going to be tomorrow. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Got distracted.
No, but anyway, yeah. I don't know if they're going to come back permanent or if she's McRibbing them. But that was back over the weekend.
My wife doesn't like it because she says it's not real ribs. And I was like, well, honey, McDonald's can't sell, bone-in ribs that you can't really easily put those on a bun and drive down the road and eat them, And she's like,
but if McDonald's sold real ribs, we'd run out of animals.
Yeah, I know.
There's so many McDonald's. I mean, come on, man. We'd have to go start doing rat ribs.
Well, it's real rib meat. They just, compress it into a patty and dip it in barbecue sauce. I mean,
what if they do it like they do? Remember Reedsville? Didn't they have a McNugget plant over in Reedsville one time? There was a big thing. Somebody tell me in Reedsville if they didn't have a McNugget plant.
Yeah, put it in the. I don't know if any of you guys can see the Facebook comment section. I can't. I accidentally closed it out. But yeah, if you're in the Reidsville area, let us know if they used to make McNuggets, or maybe there was a Tyson chicken plant there or something that made them.
Maybe that's what it was. I think there was some kind of, I could have swore that they made nuggets in Reidsville, North Carolina at one time.
They might have. They may have.
Can't remember.
I don't know if they were actual McDonald's chicken McNuggets, because those have to be made in 3 specific shapes. There's actually, don't ask, I watch a lot of YouTube documentaries, and they have like 3 or 4 different shapes of McNuggets, and that's it. They're all the same, and they're supposed to all be conducive for dipping. So there, you've just learned a little something today. But if you want to see something real fascinating, go look up the history of the McRib. It's quite an interesting story. Yeah, it had to do with, because it's funny that you said about it would be a shortage of pork ribs, because that, like, the reason the McRib was invented, or no, was it chicken McNuggets? I think it was chicken McNuggets were invented, was because there was a ground beef shortage at the time, and McDonald's was trying to figure out some way to counter that. And because they account for so many of the cows slaughtered in the United States, I think there was the way the guy told the story is like, they didn't just come up with that idea on their own. Like, maybe there was some sort of federal pressure, like, hey, you need to figure out something else to sell. We got a beef shortage going on, or we'll shut you down. Because can you imagine how many hamburgers they sell just in the United States alone a day? Or how many pounds of beef they actually move through their stores in a day?
It's amazing.
It is.
But you know what? Before the vegans get all weirded out there, just keep in mind, I have a theory on that. I call it my chicken theory. All right.
Love McChicken. No.
Well, everybody, the vegans get all bent out of shape because we eat meat. Well, my chicken theory is when a chicken has babies, they have about 8 or 10 at a time. And they do this several times a year.
Several.
So keep in mind, if we quit eating chickens,
they take over.
Pretty soon they'll have to eat us.
Yeah.
Because they will run out of food. Because 10, if this chicken has 10 babies, and then half of them are hens, and they have 10 babies, and then half, you see what I'm saying? Eventually, there's 20 trillion chickens, and you can't drive down the road because there'll be so many chickens.
One thing that drives me crazy about it, and don't any of you that are vegans out there, if you do not fall under this description, please do not be offended at this. But they treat it, vegans, pescatarians, treat it
What's
like
Presbyterians got to do with it?
The pescatarians, those are people that don't eat fish, or no, they don't eat meat except for fish. Yeah, that's right. And because I used to work with one of them, and
next time we talking about the Baptists.
She was so obnoxious. But it ties into religion. It's like they become obnoxious with it, and they want to spread the good news and tell you about it and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, dude, like, I don't care if you don't want to eat meat, but I do.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it. I like the taste of blood.
I'm old. All right. So now I feel sorry for animals. I do. It's like, I can't, it's like, I don't care somebody, I don't want to kill a deer, but if he's already dead,
eat up.
I don't want to see a cow die. I really don't. I'd like for all the cows to be able to lick. Pretty soon there'll be some cows out to eat us. But if it's already dead and it's already cooked, it is pretty good. And I'm going to eat it. Yeah. I ain't going to kill it, and I don't want to watch it die. But after it's cooked, I'll eat it.
Yeah, that's like me. I've never liked hunting per se, just because I ain't got the patience for it. But I have helped skin many a deer when they're brought home. And then you always got somebody there going, oh, look, they killed Bambi. But what you have to do when you string that deer up is just think about what it's going to look like after it's cooked and on your plate, smothered over some biscuits. And I'll tell you what,
more than once,
you will get quick with that knife. I'm telling you.
More than once, I've told myself, if I don't eat it, somebody else is going to.
That's right.
So me not eating this hamburger is not going to solve the problem. So I might as well go ahead and eat it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends that are vegan, but they're like, it's a personal choice.
There you go.
And we go out to eat. We go to their house and eat. We'll order whatever we want. They'll sit at the table while we're eating meat, and they eat what they eat. It's like I said, it's a personal choice for them, and that's fine. If you don't want to eat meat, don't eat meat. I'm not going. That's great.
Right.
But it's
You ain't got no. Your friends are not those obnoxious vegans.
No, they're not.
They're good vegans.
Yeah.
They're decent vegans.
The obnoxious ones who are doing it so they can say, I don't eat animals and you do. So that makes me a better person than you.
Yes, virtue signaling. There it is.
Yeah.
I'm better than you. Like, are you telling me this because you are trying to genuinely help me, or do you just want to be right? So.
Hey, and I know good well how Brian Reagan feels about burgers, because I've watched him back in the office after the show when they come back from the Dairy Center.
The Dairy Center, man, I'm telling you, the Dairy Center.
Well, those are chicken sandwiches.
Oh, okay.
We get chicken sandwich from there.
Stay away from the chuck wagon. Jinky tried it and she said it wasn't that good. Nothing. I mean, it wasn't bad, but but she loves the hamburgers and I love the hot dogs. But Dairy Center's awesome, man. Talk about an underrated place.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord.
Yeah,
we talk about a more if sponsor us.
I tried, but they never. I tried. I need.
That's all you get. Cut it off. No more. No more.
That you got to swing by the ATM first because they're cash on.
Oh yeah, they cash on. That's it. No more. They ain't sponsors. That's all they get.
Well,
I was tease them a little bit.
I was going to say, Rick Diesel, if you could get one of the boys there that's more local to kind of go in there and annoy the shit out of them on a weekly basis, they might get them on. Because I absolutely love them. But anyway, let's see here. So we talked about Punk. That's kind of the major thing going on in wrestling right now. I'm trying to think. There seemed like there was something else.
I wanted to bring up the return of Randy Orton.
Yes.
Yeah, that got overshadowed by the return of Punk, which again, I was reading the articles and they wanted to push it back, but and I agree with them. They knew that if they pushed it back, it would get leaked. So they wanted the surprise. So they did his return on the same event that Randy Orton was doing his return to. But yeah, it's I kind of feel bad for Randy Orton. His big return got overshadowed by CM Punk's debut.
Yeah, I'm more excited about Orton coming back because I think he's a better worker.
Yeah, and Randy looked great. He was in great shape. He looked like he put on 15 or 20 pounds of muscle because you could still see his abs. So he ain't been sitting on the couch. That's for damn sure. And but yeah, I'm glad to see Randy back. He was out for a year and a half with that injury. So let's remember, Father Time waits for no man. So this might be. I know he looks great. And you'd never see it on his face, but Randy was a rookie in 2002. That's 21 years ago. So enjoy Randy while he is here.
Yeah, because he was saying this is his
last run.
Yeah, excuse me, y'all are both talking at the same time.
Go ahead, Brian.
I said that Randy was saying that this was going to be his final run. He didn't say how long that run would be, but from what I understood, he was. Either said it outright or was hinting that this was going to be his final run.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and like I said, his injuries are going to come more and more frequently.
Yeah. Well, I think this is CM Punk's last run too, if you ask me. I mean,
oh yeah.
After as badly as things went for him in AEW, I think that he's gonna if he does gets a good head of steam and can get a good 2 or 3 years out of this, and then stroll off into the sunset. That would just be ideal.
Now that you brought that up, I wonder where does this leave Cody Rhodes?
Cody
Because now
Rhodes-
he's working with Punk, but I'm assuming he's still friends with the Bucks and those guys down there.
Yeah,
he
but-
didn't leave, he left the company. He didn't leave his friends.
Yeah, well,
Where does this put him as far as being able to work with Punk? Because now he's kind of caught in the middle.
well, that's one of the feuds that people are hoping that they see it. They put him with Cody Rhodes. You got to remember, Cody is about 10 years later into the business. No, actually longer than that, than Punk. And oh no, maybe not. Maybe 10 years. Punk started in the late 90s. So yeah, that Cody came around what, about 08, 09, somewhere in there.
I can't remember, but I'm
Yeah.
just wondering if there's any animosity. If he's like, I don't like his son bitch because what he done to my friends.
Cody Rhodes does not strike me as the type of person that would let something like that get in between him and a buck.
Business.
Yeah, because
business,
yeah.
man.
Hey.
I think he'll be able to be professional.
yeah, I can be all right. If I'm friends with Brian and I'm friends with Rick Diesel, and Brian and Rick Diesel get into a fight, that ain't got nothing to do with me. And if I'm smart, I'm going to maintain my friendship and stay neutral with both of them, if at all possible. But the minute you pick sides, then that's,
Right. And
That's
then
what problems
if one side is starting to ask you to pick sides.
yeah.
That's what I see the Bucks doing. That's what I see the young Bucks doing. Looking at Cody going, you know what I'm saying? He embarrassed us in the locker room. If you was our friend, you won't have, you know what I'm saying? Because they just look like snobby little punks that would do that.
Yeah.
I don't
And
know.
I think Cody would tell them to go fuck themselves too, I believe.
Yeah.
If he's
But-
smart.
Yeah.
I, don't know.
well,
I think as far as, I don't know, but if I were anybody affiliated with AEW, I know Tony Khan said that he couldn't comment on the return of CM Punk. He said he couldn't legally talk about it, but I would, even if
bullshit.
but the thing is, even if I could, I wouldn't.
No,
I'd
it
be
wouldn't
like,
do any good.
Right. It's like that's in the past and he's moved on, and that's really none of our concern. And yeah, I don't have one thing to say. I don't have anything to say about it one way or the other.
Did you see how the Twitter turned on Bryan Danielson when it came out that he was part of the disciplinary committee that voted to fire CM Punk? Like, he did that just to take the heat off Tony. I think he did, because he can recover from it. But those people,
I don't know, because he was on a podcast talking about how everybody came for him, and he was like, everybody's acting like I made the decision myself. It was like I'm on the board with a bunch of lawyers. It's like it's not like I'm the one that made the final decision.
Does it say something about Tony Khan that he felt like he had to put a committee together and didn't really say, okay, the buck stops here, I'm firing his ass, I've got a recommendation from the legal committee, we're going with this?
I'm wondering though if it's one of those things where because there are lawyers on that committee, it's a thing of not wanting to get sued. It's like, if I just say you're fired, can CM Punk say, well, you're in violation of the contract, or I was treated unfairly? But if he says, well, I didn't, it wasn't my decision, or was it just my decision, that it was a disciplinary board that came up with it. Who knows?
Well, when you're dealing with egos of that size, you got to have lawyers everywhere.
Oh yeah,
because you know what I'm saying. Because you bruise somebody's ego in this business, that they get all bent out of shape about it. And but Tony Khan needs to be quiet anyhow. I wished he would quit talking, because it's one thing I can't stand. It's a money man that wants to be front and center and make everything about him. And you know what I'm saying? You're not a wrestler. You're just a guy who's throwing money at it. Stop trying to make it about you. Stop trying to be the center of attention. Stop trying to do this. Stop trying to get in on the damn backstage vignette. Stop trying to goddamn be a part of the show. Just write the checks and shut up.
And hire somebody that can book it.
Yeah, hire somebody that can book it, and because it's obvious when somebody does that, they started it to stroke their own ego. They didn't start it because they give two shits about anything other than it's a way for them to be in front of a camera and stroke their own ego. That's it. That's all it is.
Cornette always likens Tony Khan to playing with real life action figures, and I don't think he's too far off. Let's put this one in here, and this one will have a good match, and this one will have a good match. And I don't, and he doesn't really focus. I mean, Brian, you and Reagan, did y'all were you able to watch Dynamite this week?
We weren't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, they were something else I was going to bring up that we're especially not good with here, so we're not making fun of. But like, he wants to have good matches, but you never really are all that sure, except maybe one or two things up and down those cards, why these particular people are mad at each other and are having this match. There's one hole in it. But
I heard a rumor. I don't know if this is true or not, but there are rumors floating around that AEW was going to go strictly to just having matches, like New Japan, not having storylines and feuds.
Kill them. It'll destroy them.
Oh yeah, that's not. Americans do not want. I mean, that might work in Japan. It will not work in the U.S. And it would be dumb to do that with like Christian Cage is doing such a good job of being a heel.
Yes, he is. Yes,
and to throw that away would just be ridiculous.
And you've got people with personalities like MJF that can do it too.
Right.
And they're making him look like a horse's ass right now. But I mean, I think it's just they kind of have to because he was like the shit heel for so many years, you know. But so I think it's just kind of trying to freshen him up. But Cornette's been talking about it for months, and Wrestling Observer Radio actually, you know, and Dave Meltzer just kisses Tony Khan's ass to no end, almost like he's on the payroll. And he and Brian Alvarez, I don't know if you've ever listened to that show, got into a major tussle over AEW going over a lot of the times. Now, if you'll look on your DVR, when you look at NXT on Tuesday night, they always have overrun built in. It'll usually say 8 to 10:09, 8 to 10:12, 8 to 10:15. AEW, if you look on your DVR guide, is Dynamite 8 to 10, right? But sometimes they run over, which is okay because like these days, like TBS shows Young Sheldon after AEW Dynamite, right? That's just 2 episodes of Young Sheldon, and then 2 episodes, I think 4 actually total. So if they have to bump that back one of their syndicated shows a few minutes, not a big deal, right? You just chop off the first 12 minutes of the episode, start it in progress, and off you go. And but they were talking about how the professionalism level is different between WWE and AEW. Is that WWE calls tells the network in advance, hey, we need to be on to 10, 15 minutes later. If you finish up early, we'll throw it back to y'all and you can go ahead and start the next movie. And they never do that in AEW. And it's really not a fair fight, but it is an interesting point because WWE's been doing TV since the place opened, I guess.
Yeah.
50 years, right? So they got a big head start. But Cornette has been talking about for weeks and weeks and weeks how and my DVR cut off, so I don't know who won the fucking match, talking about the main event. Because he's kind of like me. I always set for any sporting event, wrestling, NASCAR, whatever, I always add a little extra time to my DVR. But it does kind of say something about they don't seem to be learning from this. It's like all you have to do, I mean, you can pick up the phone and call the network and be like, hey, we're going to overrun 5 minutes when you realize it right there on the spot. But this is a pattern that's been going on for weeks and weeks and months and months and months. And it seems like they would just say, hey, TBS, can you just tack us on an extra 10 minutes? So our fans who aren't able to watch us live, DVRs don't cut off on them. And, I'm sure TBS will be like, sure, no problem. Well, I mean, it's probably like a few clicks on the keyboard, done, And so just thought it was interesting. But Dave Meltzer trying to defend that is one of the funniest things that I have ever heard. And Brian Alvarez was like, "It's not my job to have to play pick an extra episode or of whatever is coming on after just because I want to see the program. They need to finish it in the allotted time." So just wondering what your takes on that was. And is that something that can be easily fixed? Does it not matter? I think it does for people that watch or maybe working at night and want to watch on DVR or keep wondering why their DVR is cut off every week. So
yeah, it definitely does matter. And again, like you said, if it was just something that happened occasionally, you could maybe write it off. But if it's happening every week and they're still not addressing it, then it becomes, then at that point you can then blame them and say that it's something that they need to take care of.
Do you think people in AEW might be scared to say something to Tony like that because they'd be afraid he'd get on his bad side, because he is the, Richie Rich type kid. And if you're telling him he's doing something wrong, he's going to get upset and end up firing you or something like that. I don't know.
I think it's just not something that's become an issue to them yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they've heard enough people complain about it, but that makes them concerned about it. I mean, WWE has learned what they've learned over decades of TV production. AEW is still so new. I mean, they're like a baby that ain't even learned to hold their head up yet.
Yeah.
So I think once enough people make a big enough stink about it, like calling the station or stuff like that, then it'll come down to Tony Khan, and it'll be something that's important enough to him to deal with. Right now, I think he probably is not dealing with it because it's not come to his attention enough to where he thinks it's an issue.
Yeah. So everybody, if you want to get a letter writing campaign going, you write to TBS in Atlanta, or you can write to Warner Brothers out in Burbank and and raise hell and say you want your wrestling within that DVR window, damn it. One other thing.
I mean, how many people actually bring that up in a conversation? Yeah, my damn DVR cut off, pissed me off.
Yeah. Well, it happened to me a couple of times when sporting events, especially like NASCAR, if you get a rain delay or something like that, like even if I've got the thing set out for 2.5 hours extra, if the rain delay goes over that time, I know I'm not going to get to see the end of the race. So I'm just like, and I cut it off and move on. Go look at the highlights online. Tully Blanchard was in a shoot interview this week where he said in the most polite way possible that the entire time that he and Arn Anderson were in AEW, none of the young guys ever on one occasion asked them for advice. Can you believe that?
What I can't believe is that he's surprised with the way young people are in this business nowadays. You know good and well that a lot of those young kids are like, yes, Tully Blanchard, he was in the Four Horsemen. Oh, look, cookies. I mean, I mean, a lot of the young guys today, and I know both of y'all's noticed this, they have their own way of thinking in this business, and I don't think they care what Arn and Tully done. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that they want their advice because they think they know better anyhow. Oh, well, what they can tell me don't apply today.
Yeah, it's not the modern audience. Yeah.
Right. That was a bunch of old people with, wore horn rimmed glasses and everybody's hair was cut and slicked back. You know what I'm saying? That's 25 years ago, 30 years ago. That ain't today. Yeah, they can't tell me nothing that these people want to see. They don't know what people my age want to see.
You can see people smoking in the arenas back in those old 80s.
Right.
What the hell do they know?
Yeah. Well, they believed it back then. That's what the hell they knew.
Yeah. And even the ones that didn't were excited to go.
Right.
They enjoyed it. I remember hearing old timers say to me about different wrestlers, but Ole and Gene Anderson is the most common one you ever heard. I went down there to that wrestling down there in Greensboro on Saturday night. Man, when I first got there, so mad those first 3 matches. Man, that was the fakest bunch of bullshit I ever saw. But I'm gonna tell you what, Oldie and Gene Anderson come out there and they wrestle Steamboat and Youngblood. Nothing fake about that. God almighty. I ain't never seen such a damn fight. The referee had to disqualify them all. And I bet you they'd have fought all night if they'd have let them. How many times did you hear that when you were little? An older person say that, So, but anyway, I thought that was something. It kind of surprised me. It kind of didn't, but Arn and Tully were both there over 2 years. One of the things Tully pointed out to me, and I don't know if this is like this in the WWE, but this sure sounds like end of days WCW. He talked about all the stars had individual dressing rooms, and that to me don't seem like a good idea. That can cause I think that could cause cliques and tension to form.
Friction. Yeah.
And so if you're all in the same dressing room together, if wrestler A's got a problem with wrestler B, it's they're going to have more of an opportunity to talk and squash it, I think. But
well,
see so many WCW similarities. It's like, but Tony Khan's not going to run out of money, not for a while. So I don't think AEW is going anywhere. But
didn't they have this issue when Adam Page made a comment of he didn't need nobody's advice?
Yes, that is on that documentary I was talking about earlier.
That's the attitude. Because I remember when Adam Page was here, he'd take advice from anybody. He was like a sponge. But he's done so much now that he don't think those guys can tell him, how to please his fans. Mm-hmm. And I mean, and that's the problem AEW is, the kids are running the classroom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me just they don't care what the teachers have to say.
Yeah, let me show the wrestling fans what I'm talking about. Right here it is. CM Punk and AEW, the complete story. That's what you guys need to look for. The complete controversial AEW run that was just dropped 5 days ago by Drop Mick Wrestling right there. It's well worth your time. It's 2.5 hours, so you're probably not going to watch it all at one sitting. But if you want to see everything that happened in AEW compressed into a 2.5 hour window, kind of give you a better understanding. If you don't watch it every week, I can highly recommend it. And I have to say, I think a lot of that was CM Punk's doing, but I think there was a lot of people who was plotting against him before he ever got there and were afraid that he was going to outrate him, in TV ratings and stuff like that. I mean, when they started up Collision the first night, they had over 500,000 viewers. You know what they average now? About 250,000, 300,000, somewhere in that range, usually.
You want me to give you a good example of what AEW and wrestling in general, especially AEW and wrestling in general on bigger leagues, but I'd say AEW is like a cancer. Have either one of y'all watched the Amazon show The Boys?
The Boys, no.
It's on Amazon. I have it. I know about it, but I haven't watched it.
It's a series they have on there, and they just had another one called Gen V. It's about superheroes, but the superheroes on these shows, the biggest thing that they are worried about. Now, these are real superheroes. I mean, you know what I'm saying? On the show, they're real superheroes. But they're more concerned about their social media presence, how many followers they have. There's the company that like has all the superheroes that kind of controls them is a company called Vault. Mm-hmm. And their biggest concern in their boardroom is, okay, can we make a movie with this superhero? How many followers does he have? How many tweets does he have? How many, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And that's what wrestling has become. The superheroes of yesterday are not out there to try and be the good guys and save the people in distress. The wrestlers nowadays are more concerned about their social media presence than they are how good their match was, how believable their moves are, how believable their fan, that the fan base believes that that they're really mad at this guy. You know, that their feuds are real and based on reality. They're more worried about how many likes they can get on a social media post. And that's why that, like you said, people were probably plotting against CM Punk when he come in. It was probably because they was worried that he was going to take away their social media presence. Oh, he'll be trending and I won't be trending. That's a big thing on that show, The Boys. You got to be trending if you're going to be a superhero.
Yeah, I just looked it up.
That's what wrestling has become. It's trending now. It ain't believable no more. Are you trending?
Well, when Jack was on here the other week, he talked about how important the social media are. He talked about Jay Malachi only getting the opportunity down at NXT for a tryout because he was trending at the time.
Yeah,
So,
it didn't have a damn thing to do with the fact that the kid's just good.
Yeah, he is good. He's good.
He is good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But
yeah,
He's got a lot of people wanting to be hangers on with him all of a sudden now. And let me tell you something, kid, that's only going to get worse.
it's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
But I worry about if he's going to make it or not. He's going to have to put on a lot of weight.
Yes, he will.
If he's going to make, he'll never get out of NXT and he'll never get above, jobber status if he don't get some damn meat on them bones.
Well, he's not even 20 years old yet. So there's still, they can get Shawn Michaels can get him down there and get him going over to the, steakhouse and eating spaghetti and meatballs and steak every night. And they'll get some weight on him.
Get Malachi.
Huh?
Ribs. Lots of them.
I don't know if he wants to put on that kind of weight. That's more the kind of weight that I carry. And that ain't gonna help you in the ring. You need to stick with steaks and pasta, Jay. But like I have any room to give anybody advice. Anyway, let's see. That was about all I had to cover. Rick Diesel, is there anything in particular that's pissing you off this week you'd like to?
Yeah, I hadn't got to eat supper yet. Brian did not have.
Oh, wow. Okay. Sorry about that. Anyway, I guess we better wrap this up then.
I know, right?
We don't
Hungry.
Yeah, we don't want to have hangry.
I've heard Reagan in the background a couple of times. It's like I think her voice is going away. But with me, it's my stomach growling.
Yeah.
That man got to eat.
I know this isn't wrestling related, but the 49ers beat the Eagles 42-19 today. Yes.
Oh, you dated the show.
Yeah, it's all right.
I was going to be mad at you for that.
We dated it by talking about CM Punk's recent return to Raw. So, and I put a date on him anyway. So I literally date the shows.
That was Charles's big thing. He used to say, you don't need to be dating the show.
Like, why the hell not? But yeah, we're talking about.
See?
What?
Look, that's my text message. It says food's ready.
Well, all right. Well, good timing then. All right. We're going to get out of here, folks. We'll be back next week. Hopefully we can figure out our computer, at least me, figure out our computer problem. Stay tuned to the AIWF Ringside Wrestling channel on YouTube and the AIWF Network. If you're listening to this right now, the AIWF Ringside Wrestling channel, go in there and give us a like and subscribe. Our subscriber numbers are slowed down a little bit. And I don't know. I guess because we don't have new content, there's nothing for people to come and see. But we're trying to get some classic stuff on there and some new stuff too. So just bear with us through the winter months. And it will be coming at you hot and heavy come springtime anyway. But please go in there and check out our YouTube channels. We'd love to have you there. Fright Night's already up on the AIWF Network, so you got to go check it out. All right, wrestling fans. I guess for Commissioner Rick Diesel and Hall of Famer Brian Danzig, I am Mad Matt Carter. We'll see you next week, wrestling fans. And until next time, so long for now.